Happy Halloween, everyone, and welcome to episode 115 of EDH Commander Challenge. I am your ghastly host, BT. Seriously though, guys, wherever you are, I hope you're enjoying a wonderful Halloween, have tons of candy. I don't know how many people are doing that down here where I live, because right now it is raining cats and dogs outside and it is windy as ever. But regardless, wherever you are, I hope you're having a lot of fun. Speaking of fun, the poll is finally done. It's time to find out what you guys want us to do for our 1v1 matches going forward. And the winner is...
Alright, that's cool.
Alright, so 56% of you chose the same format as always. So going forward, we're just going to keep on using the same multiplayer ban list for our 1v1 matches. I want to say thank you to everybody that took the time to vote on Twitter, as well as giving me your comments on YouTube. It means a lot. And speaking of which, I mentioned to you a few episodes ago that we are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. And my girlfriend just let me know that not only have we surpassed 1,300 subscribers here on YouTube, but I actually have now 100 followers on Twitter. So I just want to say thank you to every one of our family members that support us, whether you're on Twitter, whether you are a subscriber, whether you're a patron pledgehammer. We appreciate the love and support, because again, without you, there is no us. Now, let's get started with our trick and treat episode. Or I should say trick or treat, because you guys let us know in the comments down below for which general in this case you think is the trick and which one's the treat. Without any further ado, let's get to those opening hands. First, in this corner, with an opening hand of Polluted Delta, Wooded Foothills, Verdant Catacombs, Command Tower, Soul Ring, Bloom Tender, Ramnap Excavator, and his Jund Commander Adun Oakenshield, he is Norn the Wary's #1 fan, Dario. And in this corner, with an opening hand of 2 mountains, Terramorphic Expanse, Fierce Empath, Dosen the Falling Leaf, Yeva Nature's Herald, Kenra Charioteer, and his Gruul General Ruric Thar the Unbowed. He is our Playgroup's Avenger. This is Joshua. Dario won the dice roll to start us off, so let's begin this trick-or-treat card fight. For their first turns, Dario plays Verdant Catacombs, while Josh plays a mountain. Dario sacks his Catacombs, paying 1 life to grab a Bayou from his deck. Then he plays a Command Tower and casts Soul Ring, followed by Ramnap Excavator, before passing. Josh plays Terramorphic Expanse and passes. Now able to play lands from his graveyard, Dario replays his Verdant Catacombs and casts another beautiful foil, Bloom Tender. Dario then attacks with his Excavator, and Josh takes the hit, but not before sacrificing his Expanse to grab a forest from his deck into play tapped. After which, Dario passes. Josh plays a mountain and casts Sakura Tribe Elder and passes. While Dario sacks his fetch land again, paying 1 life to get an Expedition-style Stomping Ground from his deck into play tapped. Dario again replays his Catacombs and casts his General, Adam, and passes. During his end step, Josh sacks his Elder to grab another forest from his deck into play tapped. Josh plays a mountain and passes. During his end step, Dario sacks his fetch land again, paying 1 more life to grab an Expedition-style Blood Crypt into play tapped. Hashtag wish I had those lands. Dario goes big and casts Terastodon. In response, Josh flashes in Yeva, Nature's Herald. After which, Dario does a magic trick where he replaces 3 of Josh's lands with 3 elephant tokens. but for some reason Josh is not clapping. And since he won't clap, Dario replays his Catacombs and passes. Josh plays Grove of the Burn Willows and casts Kenra Charioteer, with Dario gaining 1 life from the Grove. Then Josh passes. During the end step, rinse repeat again with the fetch. This time Dario gets an Expedition-style Overgrown Tomb from his deck into play tapped. Dario moves right into combat on his turn and sends Terastodon at Josh. Josh declares no blocks and takes 9 damage. Ouch. Then in his second main phase, Dario plays an Expedition-style Ancient Tomb and passes. Josh also moves right into combat for his turn and attacks with everything except his Charioteer, which gives them trample. Dario also declares no blocks and takes 13 damage before Josh passes. During the end step, Dario casts Abrupt Decay, targeting the Charioteer. Josh responds to this by flashing in Priest of Titania, just because, and then the decay resolves and Dario gains 1 life from the Grove. Dario casts his Comic-Con promo Liliana Heretical Healer. Here, have a look up close, guys. He then replays his Catacombs. Then he attacks Josh with his Terastodon. Josh decides his creatures are too important to block and takes another 9 damage. And then Dario passes. Josh plays a Stomping Ground tapped, almost hiding it, not wanting to lose any more mana sources after all. Then attacks Dario with his 3 elephants. Dario responds by sacrificing his fetch again, paying 1 life, to grab Dryad Arbor from his deck into play. He uses it to block 1 elephant and takes the damage from the other 2. As the Arbor dies, Liliana transforms into her Defiant Necromaster Planeswalker form, and also Dario gets a 2/2 zombie token. Finally, he uses Adun's ability and returns his Arbor to his hand before Josh passes the turn. Dario moves right into combat for his turn. However, before combat, Josh flashes in Dosen the Falling Leaf. Dario still attacks with his Terastodon. Josh uses Dosen to block the hit. During his second main phase, Dario uses Liliana's +2 ability, making each player discard a card. Dario then plays the Polluted Delta that he's just discarded as his land for turn, and casts Yawgmoth's Will, which lets him cast Abrupt Decay from his graveyard, targeting the Priest of Titania. In response, Josh flashes in Fierce Empath, gaining Dario 1 life from the Grove, which Josh uses his Impact trigger to add Ghalta Primal Hunger from his deck to his hand. Then Dario passes. Josh moves right into combat for his turn and attacks with his Elephant Trio. Dario uses his Zombie and Excavator to block 2 of them and takes 3 damage. Then Josh passes. Dario moves right into his combat and attacks with all of his creatures. Josh flashes in Ghalta Primal Hunger. He uses it to block Terastodon and Yeva to block Adun, while the Bloom Tender remains unblocked and Josh takes 1 damage. During his second main phase, Dario casts Living Death, causing all creatures in play to go to the exile and return all creatures in graves to play, before sending all creatures in exile to the graveyard. From this, Dario gets back Adun, Terastodon, and rounding up Excavator. while Josh gets back Sakura Tribe Elder, Kenra Charioteer, Dosen the Falling Leaf, Priest of Titania, and Bane of Progress that got discarded earlier. Triggers then resolve. The Bane destroys Dario's Soul Ring, getting him a +1/+1 counter, and then Dario uses Terastodon to blow up 2 of his own lands to gain 2 elephant tokens to bolster his defenses. Then, he plays Ancient Tomb back from his graveyard. Next, he casts Lotus Cobra, and then uses Liliana's +2 ability, and each player discards 1 card from their hand before Dario passes. During the end step, Josh sacks his Elder to grab a basic into play tapped. Josh plays Handweir Battlements and casts God Eternal Ronus. Its trigger doubles the power of all Josh's other creatures in play and gives them vigilance until the end of the turn. He also uses his battlements to give Ronus haste. Then he moves into combat and attacks with everything, most of which has trample thanks to the Charioteer. Dario has his Elephant Duo block the Bane, his Cobra to block Dosen, Terastodon to block the Charioteer, and Excavator to block Ronus. Damage is then dealt, and Dario takes 5 total points of trample damage, and both players lose most of their creatures before Josh passes. Dario replays his Dryad Arbor and casts 3 Visits. This allows him to grab a Taiga from his deck into play. Then he uses Liliana's -3 to reanimate his Excavator before passing. Josh finally casts his general, Ruric Thar, and passes. Dario replays his Catacombs and uses Liliana for -2 this time to reanimate Bloom Tender before passing. Josh plays a Taiga and casts Ilhard the Raiseboar, aka Mr. Pig. Josh gives it haste with his battlements, and then moves into combat and attacks Dario with his 2 gods and Ruric Thar. Dario blocks and kills Ruric with Terastodon, and he uses his Arbor to block Ronus, while taking 6 from Mr. Pig. Then Josh passes. During his end step, Dario casts Chord of Calling, where X is 8, and also takes 2 damage from his Ancient Tomb. With it, he brings out Rune-Scarred Demon from his deck to play, which thanks to its trigger, allows Dario to tutor a card from his deck to his hand. Dario gives up Liliana to use -2 on her a final time. This lets him reanimate Lotus Cobra. Then he plays Misty Rainforest, getting red mana off the Cobra's trigger, and casts Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker. He taps it to make a copy of his demon, allowing him to tutor the last card he needs to win the game, which he then casts, of course, which is Zealous Conscripts, which lets him untap Kiki and make infinite hasty creatures, allowing him to move to combat afterwards and take the trick or treat win. Josh played a phenomenal game, considering early on he lost 3 mana sources. His God Eternal Ronus came at nearly the best possible time and almost gave him the win. Dario's rounding up Excavator on this game was his best friend, and it allowed him access to reusing his Catacombs to fix his mana and ensure he would never draw a card that he couldn't cast. Agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you enjoy our content, consider becoming a patron. I'll give you access to some sweet bonuses while helping out the channel at the same time. Thanks everyone. Hope you had a happy Halloween. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you're a fan of EDH gameplay and you like whether it be 1v1 or multiplayer and you want to be part of the ever-growing Command Your Challenge family, just make sure you smash the subscribe button and notification bell down below. We do weekly videos. Don't forget as well to like, comment, share our videos, but most importantly, enjoy them. On behalf of all of our members here, I'm your host, BT. Feel free to check out all of the videos in the channel. Join our game. It's now your turn. Cheers!